אין בליבנו ושנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו אוי אדרבה תן בליבנו שנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו ולא תן בליבנו אוי שנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו אוי אדרבה תן בליבנו אוי שנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו ולא
I'm here to speak about Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. And I call Rav Elimelech. First of all, I'm sorry for my English. As you could hear, I'm not a native English speaker, so please help me, and Danny will help me. We will start in English. Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. I want to speak about two elements in the thought of Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk's Torah. The first one is the point of, I call him the master of criticism, the master of rebuke, of criticism. And I wanted to speak about that point of criticism in Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk's thought. And the next point is the next issue. And the next issue, the second issue, will be the word tzaddik in Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk Torah, especially in his book Noam Elimelech. So we deal with those two issues in this time. So, but let's start in the beginning. Who is Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, and when and who was he? So he is one of the students of Hamagid Mimezrich, the Magid from Mezrich. So he is the third generation in the Chassidut. The Magid Mimezrich is one of the students. He is the closest student of the Baal Shem Tov. So we have the Baal Shem Tov, and after it, the Magid, and in the third generation, Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. And to explain the role of Rav Elimelech in the Hasidic history, I'll try to draw a Hasidic sentence. I have no whiteboard, but I'll try to draw it, on air. A Hasidic pasuk, if I call it like this. There is a pasuk in Sefer Bereshit, Parashat Bereshit. It goes like this: ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן, ומשם ייפרד והיה לארבעה ראשים. It's a pasuk in פרשת בראשית. ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן, ומשם ייפרד והיה לארבעה ראשים. So please help me to draw it down. What I should draw first? ונהר יוצא מעדן. So what is first?
The river.
Eden is first. And from Eden goes out Nahar. Yes? And the Nahar goes to ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן. Supply water to the garden. So the first is Eden, and it's of course the Baal Shem Tov. The Nahar, as a Hasidim call it, is the Maggid of Mezrich. And the garden is Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. So he has a very important role in the Hasidic history. And he had four important students that they will be the four Rashim that goes out from this river. Those four are Jose Lublin, Rabbi Mendele, Merimanov, the Ohev Israel Be'apta, Abraham Yeshua Heschel, the first singer, and the last one is the Maggid of Koexists. But we will not speak about them today. It will be the next time. So we will speak about Rav Elimelech. So Rav Elimelech is in a very central position, and he is the founder of the Chassidut in Poland. His four students will spread the Chassidut out all over Poland. So he's a very important figure in Chassidut. So, what do we know about Rav Elimelech? First, we know how he was looked like. He was extremely tall, and he was dressed as some kind of a peasant. Very simple Hasidic coat. We know that for years he was traveling all over Poland and Galicia with a rope instead of a belt, and he was looked like a beggar, and he was a very, he was classical Talmid Chacham, and what's important for us that we know that he was a very tough guy. He was a tough man. The youngest in Israel used to go to Poland to a tour. My daughter going to be in Poland in the end of this summer. They learn in Poland about the Shoah and so on. And all the Israeli youngest groups, when they came to Lizhensk, in the south of Poland, they start to dance and sing in there. But actually, the atmosphere in Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk court was quite different. He was a very tough guy, and he was actually he all the time he told everyone their problems, and he was talking all the time about problems, about what is not good, what is not working. So he was criticized everyone in front of him, and most of the time he was criticized himself as well. So we will talk about this point of criticism. Why did he do it? What is purpose in that? And the second point will be the Tzaddik, and then I want to speak also about the connection between them, about the kesher. Okay, so let's start with paragraph number Gimel. It's a Hasidic tale, and it's going like this. I'll read it maybe in Hebrew, and then I'll try to translate it into English, or you will help me with that. פעם אחת נסע הרב רבי אלימלך מליז'נסק לניקלשבורג, והרב רבי שמלקה מניקלשבורג נסע לקראתו לאחת העיירות שבדרך. So, Rabbi Elimelech of Lizhensk traveled to Nikolsburg to meet his old friend Rabbi Shmerke of Nikolsburg, one of the famous chassidic leaders in this generation, and they met. They gathered together in some little town on their way. כשנפגשו שם, עלו ובאו לדרוש בבית הכנסת. עמד הרב רבינו שמלקה לפני ארון הקודש, ודרש דרוש בקבלה ובחוכמת אלוקות, בדרוש ובפלפול, והקהל עמדו ושמעו. So the first one to speak was Reb Shmerke, and he had a tremendous drisha, and everyone was so, it was so amazing, it was so nice. כאשר סיים הרב שמלקה, ביקש הרב רבי אלימלך מהרב רבינו שמלקה שייתן לו רשות להגיד גם הוא איזה דברים בדרך המוסר. כך עלה ועמד רבי אלימלך לפני ארון הקודש ואמר. So, from some reason, Rabbi Elimelech is not comfortable with what Shmerke did, and he wants to speak also. Please, I want some word in the derech hamusar, in the criticism way, in the rebuke. אספר, and he had a story. אספר לכם מעשה שהיה. פעם אחת נסע השר פוטוצקי מפולין למרחקים על פני התבל, לראות מדינות רחוקות, ועמו שמש אחד ועגלון. בבואם למדינה בה לא הכירו אותם, קשרו העגלון והשמש קשר, ורצחו את אדונם השר. כעת הפך עצמו השמש לשר פוטוצקי, והעגלון הפך לשמשו. כך נסעו השניים ממדינה למדינה, עד שחלה השר המדומה ונפל למשכב. ובאו דוקטורים רבים ונתנו לו תרופות מעודנות, כיאה לשר פוטוצקי. אך אלה לא פעלו עליו מאומה. לבסוף הגיע למקום פלצ'ר אחד, רופא כפרי פשוט, ונתן לו רפואה חזקה וגסה, כמו שנותנים לעיקרים מגושמים, ומיד מתרפא השר המדומה והבריא. אכן ידידיי, קרא רבי אלימלך, הפרופסורים הגדולים שחשבו שהוא השר פוטוצקי, נתנו לו תרופות מעודנות הראויות לאיש ענוג כמו פוטוצקי, אך לא מתאימות כלל לעיקר גס מזג. לאחד כזה הרי נותנים לעצירות לוג שמרים, ולכאב ראש תחמוצת פלפלים. כך גם רבינו הקדוש מניקלשבורג, המשיך רבי אלימלך, הוא חושב אתכם למביני מדע ושכל, הוא אינו יודע איך אדם חוטא. לכן טרח לפרוס לפניכם דרשות שכליות וגבוהות, כמו שראוי לבני דעת וברי לבב. אבל אני רופא כפרי ודן ולא פרופסור. אני אתן לכם תרופות ראויות לבוערים בעם שכמותכם. מיד פרס בפניהם כל העבירות וקלקולי העריות שעברו, זה כאן וזה כאן. כעת הראה באצבעו על העשירים שעמדו בכותל המזרח, והכריז בקול לכל אחד ואחד פשעו וחטאתו. מיד התחילו כולם לבכות במר נפשם והתעוררו לתשובה. So, it's a very nice story. Yeah? About the Graf Potocki, the Duke of Potocki, something like that. Yeah? He's a very famous guy. He was a famous guy in Poland, some kind of a duke, non-Jewish duke. Actually, when I was a kid, everyone that had a Polish grandmother know who is Rav Potocki, because when I was sitting, with my legs on the table, so my grandmother told me, look at him, you think that he is maybe the Graf Potocki, the Duke of Potocki. So it was a common term in my childhood. So what happened with the Graf Potocki? He was traveling to see far away in the United States, and he took with him a servant and a glon, how do you say a glon?
Driver.
The driver. And in the middle of the way, they killed their master, and some kind of promotion. The servant became to be the Duke of Potocki, and the driver turned to be the servant, and they keep traveling all over, and he dressed like Graf Potocki and everything, okay? Until short time after, the servant became to be very sick. So they invited the great doctors come to try to heal him, to cure him, but no one succeeded to heal him. Until became some kind of a felcher. I don't know the exact translation of the word, the Yiddish word felcher, but I think it's some kind of a vet, more than a doctor. Yes, it's a very simple doctor from the, from the villages of Poland or something like that, some kind of peasant. And he know how to cure the fake Duke of Potocki. He gave him, something like very spicy pepper or something like that, and it worked. So everyone asked him, how did you do that? And he told them, you were wrong because you believe that he is a Duke of Potocki. And that's a dangerous situation, that you believe his lies. I could see immediately that he is not a duke. He is a simple man. I know how to deal with a simple man. I push pepper with something and it works. So, Rav Elimelech and say, Rav Shmelke, he is some kind of a professor. And he talks to you as you are the Duke of Potocki. He is wrong. I want to help you. I want to cure you. So I will criticize you. I will tell you your real problem, and that will help you. That will cure you up. So let's hear carefully what Rav Elimelech tried to tell us, and please imagine yourself in that specific situation. And maybe Rav Elimelech speaks now with you, he's speaking with you. And he blames you in very hard things. So what he blames us, Rav Elimelech, in that, in the inner fable that he told us, what he blames us, please help me. What did we do wrong? First, yes, we are, of course, the servant that became to be the fake Rav Potocki. So what did you do wrong? Please help me.
He stole somebody's identity.
Yeah, we stole the identity. Yeah, so we are thieves. Okay, more than that. What more?
Murderers.
What?
Murderers.
We are murderers. Murderer, thieves. More.
We are fakes.
We are fakes. We are liars. We are lying to who?
Ourselves.
To everyone and also to ourselves. Okay, murderers, liars, and fake. More than that, we have a very we have an issue with our, also we have our health, yes, we are ill. So it's the fourth thing. And we have another problem. Actually, it's not exactly our problem. The next problem is that we have the non-proper doctor. The doctor of us believe our lies, and actually it's our problem, it's also his problem, the doctor's problem, because he don't know how to cure us, what to do with us. So we have many problems, but the main problem is that we are fake, we are not real. We are trying we have some kind of a show, like everything is fine, and we have the Duke of Potocki with our leg on the table, but it's not a true situation. We have a very deep problem, and just the right doctor, that have to be a simple doctor, not a professor, not some kind of a professional. He will help us, and that is Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. He refers himself as that simple doctor that will going to have to tell you the truth. So, according to Rav Elimelech, every one of us is a little bit liar. We pretend to be the Duke of Potocki. Everything is fine with us, no problem at all. And we need the one who will tell us what exactly our problems are. And the main problem is that we are lying to everyone and to us that maybe everything is right, which is not true, of course. So, but you know, if you read the story carefully, I want to point at the fact that they were listened to him in that specific situation, and it's told that they was crying. And so, you know, if someone was criticize me, I believe I close my ears and I won't listen. But they listened to him, and I want to ask why they listen to him. But let's keep it right now. Another story. Number Hay, paragraph Hay. And I want to tell you that it's a very hard story. It's not for kids. How old are you, please? Okay. Adults only have to read the story. It's a story about the pasuk Vayichar Af Yaakov Berachel. Maybe I'll try to.
Can you do it in English? Then everyone knows the
Yeah,
What?
could you translate after every sentence, maybe?
Okay, so
Instead of
maybe
reading
I'll
the
try
whole
to have the English from the beginning. Okay. I'll try to tell the story in English. There is one young, one of the followers of the Elimelech of Lizhensk, a young man. He's married, and he have no children. They have no children at all. So his wife family asked him to speak about it with his rabbi, with Rav Elimelech. Please tell him that you don't have, it doesn't work, and there is no children. But he refused, and he tells them, no, he don't want to speak about it with his rabbi, because he's a very holy rabbi, and I want to speak to him just about, Avodat Hashem, theological questions, or I don't know exactly what, about serving God, what's the way exactly. But after another time, more than more, they asked him to speak about the problem with Rav Elimelech. He agreed, and he speaks about Rav Elimelech, about the problem. So Rav Elimelech asked him to read some Tehillim chapters or something, but it doesn't work at all. So a year or so later, he come came back to Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk and told Rabbi that nothing works, so what I have to do? And then Rav Elimelech asked him a very strange question. Please tell me, I'll read it from the text in Hebrew. It's 5 lines from the bottom, in page number 2. ויהי כי הציקהו הרבה מאוד, שאל לו הרב הקדוש, האך תתנהג עם אשתך? האם ישיבתכם בבטח ושלווה כן הן? Please tell me, young man, what's the situation between you and your wife? You know, there's some problems or something. Everything fine. And the young man, the Avrech, told the rabbi, everything is perfect. Now, you don't fight from time to time. You don't fight with your wife. Nothing. No, any tension between us. Everything is just perfect. Say that young man. So Rav Elimelech think for a moment and told him, I think that I know what the problem is. Please go back to your home, go back, and please make a fight with your wife.
It's too perfect.
So this young man was very surprised, but the rabbi told him to do so, so there is he had no choice. He went back home and he tried to make a fight with his wife. And you won't believe it, but in a moment, there was a very big fight. And it's not just was a fight, he slapped her twice. And he was surprised about himself. What did I do? I told you that it's not for kids, that's serious. Don't tell it at home. Why did I do that? I love her. Why did I slap her twice? But you don't believe it. 9 months later, they were pregnant, and there was a baby. So the young man went to again to told him all the story, what happened. So Rav Elimelech answered him, and I'll read it from the text. It's in page 3, somewhere right before Vav, paragraph. אל תדמה בנפשך כי ציוויתי להתקוטט, חס ושלום. Please, don't you ever think that I recommended you to have a fight with your wife or slap her also. לא אמרתי לך כי אם מה שרמזה תורתנו הקדושה אצל יעקב אבינו עליו השלום, דכתיב ויחר אף יעקב ברחל וכולי, וקשה מה פשעה ומה חטאה נגדו אם דיברה לנגדו, האין אדם נתפס על צערו, אלא שיעקב אבינו עליו השלום ראה כי אהבתם יחד הוא הסיבה שתמנע פרידתם. I'll stop reading that. I want to ask you a question. Rav Elimelech told him, I just want to clarify, I want to explain you what the Torah means in the story about the fighting between Yaakov and Rachel. Do you remember that the word fighting? You know that. They are the most, I don't know how to call it, some kind of a perfect love story. Yaakov and Rachel, yes? Near the Be'er, how do you say Be'er? Be'er? Near the? Well. Yeah, he was sitting near the well, and she came, slow motion with the ships. So it was a perfect love. But a few chapters later, they are fighting, and she asked him for a baby, and instead of mercy, he is shouting. She shouted her. And what do you want from me? I'm God, I can help you, I won't help you. Yeah? He was angry. Instead of being, more merciful. So, Rav Elimelech told Zeev, I just want to explain you those psukim about Yaakov Lechem. But more than that, I want to ask you, why did Rav Elimelech suggested this young man to go and fight with his wife? It's a very strange suggestion, yes.
Maybe they lacked passion, and this was a way of igniting passion.
Okay, maybe. Thank you. Then,
Well, similar to the first story, it could be that the relationship could have been somewhat fake. And every relationship needs a fight, and it's some way to kind of make their match a lot more kind of real.
okay. Thank you. I think that you can feel it, that Rav Elimelech feels that their love is not true. It's fake. Like the fake Duke of Potocki. Yes? It's fake. It's too perfect. And too perfect is not love. Because love is, some kind of a friction. Yeah? So if the things are such perfect, it means that they are not meet each other actually. Because if they were a real couple, they have friction, it's supposed to be a problem. And look at the exposition of the story. The young man, he didn't want to speak with a rabbi about problems, just about Avodat Hashem, God worshippers. And it reveals that this man is fake. If you think that you're, just some kind of professor, as in the other story, you are doing just with, how do you say, dvarim ruchaniyim, or spiritual matters. So it means that you are not with your legs on, feet on hairs. And I think that what Rav Elimelech tried to do with his criticism is to make us stand on earth. I think that, and now, and in a moment, I think that, and now we are getting to the next point about the term tzaddik in Rav Elimelech's Torah. I think that in those generations in the Chassidut, they were asking themselves, who is the perfect man? Who is the tzaddik? And if Rav Elimelech's rabbi, the Magi of Mezrich, answers that the tzaddik is the person who is unified with God, who is always in a dveikus situation, that's his rabbi's answer. The answer of Rav Elimelech, his definition to the term tzaddik is quite the opposite. It's a man that stands on earth and not ignore his problems. So the ask that Rav Elimelech asked us is how the tzaddik would be a simple man who deals with the problems and face the problems. Please.
Not want to raise my hand, but anyway, I guess what I was thinking about was that the young man was kind of ashamed of his feelings. He couldn't reveal them to the rabbi, and maybe he couldn't reveal them to his wife, and he was ashamed of that. So the rabbi had to kind of guide him, and when he thought how to achieve oneness with God, he thought it had nothing to do with the physical.
Yeah.
So the rabbi was guiding him.
I'm sure you're right, and there was a shame, but I think that Rav Elimelech knows that every one of us are shamed in something, and we are hiding something because of that shame feelings. So Rav Elimelech, there is no shame in his circles, because he knows that because of that shame, we are lying to everyone and to ourselves as well. And so he wasn't a pleasant man. He was a tough guy. He tell you all your lies in your face. And I'm sure that everyone who is beside him were very ashamed, you know. But that was his purpose, to not to hide behind the shame feelings. And, okay. I hope you understand me because.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Any other question? So let's talk about the term tzaddik. Who is a tzaddik? I want to read with you, please, paragraph number Aleph from the beginning. כתב הרבי מקומרנו. The rabbi of Komarno wrote, one of his disciples, שמעתי אני השפל בשם רבנו אלימלך שאמר, lower me, that's I heard lower me in the name of my rabbi, Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, that he used to say, מה שכל העולם צועקים לפניו, זה מבקש שיחיה בנו, וזה צועק על הפרנסה, וזה על החיים. ואמר, על ידי שחטאתי והכרעתי את העולם לכף חובה, צועקים לפניי, מלך תן פרנסה, מלך תן בנים שנלקחו ממני בגללך, הן אתה גרמת שיחסר לנו כל זאת. ודברים אלו בוערים כלפידים. I'll try to translate. Okay, I heard that Rav Elimelech used to say, for what reason everyone come to me in any problem they have, they come to me. Yeah? If there are issues with their health or livelihood or anything, or family issues, why did they come to me? Why do they come to me? And the answer is, because I caused the problem. I did it. It's all the problems are because of me. Because I have sinned. Yes, I have many problems. And because of my problem, I caused many problems all over the world. So because of that, you broke you have made the problem, so you will solve it. So I want to ask you now, according to that paragraph, according to Rav Elimelech's words, is he a tzaddik or a sinner? It's a confused question. Please, what do you think?
Both.
He's both, yes? In the same moment, he's a sinner, but because he is a sinner, that's turned him to be some kind of responsible. Yeah, so he has a responsibility to fix everything that he broke. Yeah? So, if you have life in a consciousness as a sinner, that makes you feel responsible for everything, and that, in a very surprised way, it makes you a tzaddik. So the tzaddik and the sinner is not opposite words in his Torah. It's actually the same. A consciousness of a sinner makes you a tzaddik, makes you the perfect man, makes you the pious, the righteous man.
But you have to know that you're sinning. Sometimes you don't realize that you're sinning. Just like the young man who came to the rabbi and asked for advice, he didn't know that he was...
And that is the ultimate sin. When you are not live your life as a sinner, that is the ultimate sin, according to Rav Elimelech. Okay? Yes, please.
How does Elimelech avoid, does he address, how does he avoid deluding himself? With the
Avoid?
deluding himself, because in the way that, or how does he know to what extent he's responsible for? Because like, if someone does, if like one of his, if someone comes to him and kills somebody, it's not Elimelech's fault. Like, he may take responsibility for that on some sort of as spiritual insight, but he must know he didn't, unless he's delusional, that he didn't kill him.
Okay.
So, he clarified, it's obviously he's not, or I'm assuming he's not saying that I literally committed these sins, or is he assuming, yep, I actually did this, or you know what I mean? Like, then he's ungrounded.
Look, I believe...
Can you repeat the question before you address it?
Yeah. If I understand you well, you're asking what makes Rav Elimelech responsible for someone that kills his friends? It's not his fault. Why did? Yes,
That's part of it, and also then how does he? And if he does take responsibility, how does he do it in a way that keeps him like sane and grounded?
Okay.
You know, because if he then thinks I'm the one causing all this, I'll become a crazy person, or possibly.
I'll try to answer you. And I want to say, you know, I think Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk is quoting a paragraph in the Talmud, which says that every one of us has to look upon the world as he's just, you know, balance between the good and the evil. And if you made one good thing, you will turn the whole world into the good side. And if you have made one evil thing, the whole world will be bad. So it's not a direct responsibility. I'm not responsible directly about someone that happens right now in the other side of the world, But it's a deep motion, it's a deep feeling of responsible of the evil by general. And it's a feel that I could change. It's a responsibility. It's a taking of responsibility. I think that's the right point. Yes? Yes, please.
There seems to be an arrogance in that attitude that it's all happening because of me. And even in the language of using Melech for probably Elimelech,
exactly.
but nonetheless,
Yes.
it's as if they're coming to the king. So there is a certain arrogance in believing you're causing all of this, and then you're able to solve all of it.
Exactly. So the believing, exactly. Thank you for that, because the believing of causing all this makes you. It gives you the strength to change. It gives you the possibility to change. So, what makes you feel responsible makes you also feel the need to change the whole world. I don't know exactly how to change, how to stop a problem in Nicaragua, which I don't know what, but I believe in a very deep emotion that if I will do a little thing better, it will somehow, so everything is my responsibility. Please, I want to read another, the second paragraph, because it will clarify something. Amar Rabbi Elimelech. Yes, paragraph number Bet. אמר רבי אלימלך, מובטח לי שיש לי חלק לעולם הבא, כשאבוא לפני בית דין של מעלה, והם ישאלו אותי, האם עסקת בתורה כמצווה? אשיב לא, אחר כך ישאלו האם התפללת כמצווה, ואני אשיב כבתחילה לא. והם ישאלו שלישית, האם עשית מעשים טובים כמצווה? וגם הפעם איני יכול להשיב תשובה אחרת. מיד יוציאו את פסק הדין, אתה אומר את האמת. למען האמת מגיע לך חלק לעולם הבא. And I want to ask you again the same question as I asked before. According to this paragraph, is Rav Elimelech is a tzaddik or is he a sinner?
What does it mean?
Well, could you translate it so that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So Rav Elimelech was used to say, I know for sure that I am going to be in heaven in Gan Eden. Yes? And why is that? Why I'm so sure? Because when I will come in front of the Supreme Court over there, and they will ask me, did you learn Torah as needed, as recommended? And I, of course, will say no. And they will ask me again, did you pray as needed? Did you did you know good things? And I, of course, what?
Did you do good deeds?
Did you do good deeds? And I, of course, will answer no. So then I will hear the supreme voice that will tell me, you are telling the truth. And because of that, you're come into the gates of heaven. So is he a tzaddik or a sinner? The same question and the same answer. Is both of them in the same moment. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm not certain how you can justify calling him a tzaddik as a result of the story. He's very familiar with the notion of punishment in this world and the next world. And it seems as if there's a flip side of the story that's not being told. And that is that he's going to be punished here. And that's going to take care of his obligations and his debts. And he's very happy about that. So when he can get up to heaven, he can afford now to tell the truth. And he knows, as he says, what's going to happen. So he's not a tzaddik. He didn't do anything right. The fact that he told the truth, it's easy for him to do.
But because he told the truth, he is coming into the gates of heaven. So you may not call it a tzaddik, but what it's, the gates of heaven are open to the good people, to the tzaddik.
He's not regretting anything here.
He regrets everything.
It doesn't appear from the story.
Why not? It told us that
he didn't do it, but where's the regret? Where's the tshuva?
It's implicit.
Where is it?
I think that the tshuva. No,
I like to think so.
I want to clarify that point. I think that Rav Elimelech thinks that he is a perfect man. He don't have to do any tshuva. And why is that? As it told in that story. And why he is a perfect man? Because of that point, that he takes the responsibility. I want to clarify a very interesting issue that associated with that. And it's there in the research of the Hasidim, they used to say that Rav Elimelech is the founder of the public Chassidut, of the more low-cost rabbis that, like you could see, maybe you can see today in several Chassiduyot. I don't want to mention names, but there's nothing there. But the rabbi, they go to ask the rabbi everything they need, who to vote, Obama, Clinton, Trump, and the cow, something not good with the milk with the cow, so they run to the rabbi. Yes? We used to say that Rav Elimelech is the founder of that phenomenon. And I think that it's you know, I have some criticism against that phenomena, but I think that Rav Elimelech is actually the founder of this phenomena because he is the first one that invented the tzaddik role to be involved in everything, in everyone's life. And that, to feel the deep responsibility for everything. And to try to help whatever you can do. And if he do it always come with a feeling of a guilt, of ashma. You are not okay. There are many problems with yourself, and because of that, you are responsibility, as we mentioned before. And because of that, you are do whatever you could do with everything, and in that moment, you have nothing to do tshuva, as he told in the story. He is a perfect man. He is a perfect man because that he is not feels himself perfect. Okay, so it's quite complicated. Thank you for
You know what I was thinking? It was like he was in a very unique position because people would come to him and ask him questions about how to live and everything. You may, an individual who doesn't have his status may think they have good advice to give to the next one and may want to emulate, but nobody will listen to you, or very few people.
Yeah.
It was because of his stature that, you know, he was listened to. And I was thinking that could be for good and for bad. I think he had insight as to a way that people could reach a better life, you know. But some people who have others coming to them, maybe in that position, maybe they don't have that much to offer, but you know, but they're listened to. So I don't know. It's like it's wonderful when you find someone who is that wise, but
I think,
you know, it's to trust in another like that is very dangerous too.
yeah. Look, I believe what makes Rav Elimelech in that specific status was, first of all, was the deep wish to fix all the problems that he could see. And I think that every one of us, I think that Rav Elimelech also think so, and he wrote it in his book, Noam Elimelech, that everyone could be a tzaddik. Who is a tzaddik? He is the man of silk, who he actually in his book, in Noam Elimelech, he drew out two types of tzaddik. The first one is some kind of his rabbi, Rabbi Maggid of Mezrich. He's a man of silk. He just dealing with supreme, non-material issues. But the good tzaddik, and he keep using the word tzaddik, and it's very important. The good tzaddik is that man that feels the responsibility and do things. He's actually involved. You know, I'll tell you, if you go and look what's happening in Belz Hasidim or Vizhnitz Hasidim today, most of us, it seems some strange to ask Rabbi anything, but here I mentioned the name. Okay, but actually, it's very impressive because the rabbi know the Hasidim, every one of them, and what's exact problem they are dealing with, and he actually try to help them. He's, you know, the some kind of a father figure or something, a huge father figure, or something like that, and it's very impressive. So I think what makes him a tzaddik, I don't know what's exactly going on with the Belz Rabbi or so, but what makes tzaddik, that man is the feeling of responsibility, of caring, of that it's your issues. It's not just them. It's your issue as well. Okay. Yes.
Is it possible that Elimelech had maybe himself? Is it possible that on his self-concept was one of a sinner in this way, or this responsibility mindset? And objectively, if there is such a thing, but objectively, he seemed like he was a tzaddik. I get the sense that if people were drawn to him, and he really cares about him, like, care and love, that can't be fake. I mean, if people, meet for a while, but, if you sincerely care about people, I think he must have known he was on, I'd like to hear your thought. Did he know he was on that sort of level? Did he know that he was on that level to do that? And so he did it because he was in that position, because he knew, he was like, oh, I actually really care about these people. And, I don't know, he knew he wasn't committing he wasn't like running like a crime syndicate, on the side.
Like, excuse me?
If he really thought he was an evil person, he would know he would be doing objectively, like, he wasn't plotting evil in his spare time. You know what I mean?
Of course,
so,
of course.
So I'm just saying, like, was there some awareness that he knew he was on some sort of level, like he knew this was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, the difference between the self-concept of, I know I'm not a great guy, I'm just trying to help. That's one thing, but knowing that, hey, he's actually pretty bad there.
Thank you for the question. Your name, please?
Eli.
Wow. You know that the Hasidic interpretation to those paragraphs that we just read about Rav Elimelech is that he was criticized himself, and he was called himself a sinner just to teach us how to do with ourselves. But he knew as well that he's not a sinner. That's a Hasidic interpretation to the. But I believe that Rav Elimelech, even that he all his day just learn Torah and pray. What does he do? He didn't do wrong. Never ever. But I think in a very deep emotion he feels the responsibility, and he knows that everyone as him could feel that same responsibility to the world, and that will turn him to be involved, and people will come to him and ask him questions, because they feel that he take care.
Well, how did he learn that? Has he ever explained how he came to this realization, how he learned it?
Of course.
Oh.
He learned it. He learned from himself, not from his rabbi.
Okay,
And
yes,
he learned it because he know that. Okay. Let's say something about the term tzaddik in general. The tzaddik, it's a Kabbalic issue. That the tzaddik is the one who connecting the heavens and the earth. Yes, he's the bridge between those two spheres. And most of us asking how to become a tzaddik, and we are looking up, and how could I get there? But I think Rav Elimelech look at the same pillar, what we call the tzaddik. It's a pillar of the world that holds. If I say the Kabbalic words, he holds all the world on his shoulders. I think that Rav Elimelech looks at the same pillar, but he turned his mabat, his
Viewpoint.
His viewpoint down. And he said, okay, if I'm a tzaddik, I have to look down to the problems, to the to all that issues, and to try whatever I could do to solve the problems. So, okay, so I think we can conclude now, and we can conclude and say that we talk about two elements in Rav Elimelech's Torah. The first was the criticism and the role of criticism. And the second was the term tzaddik, in his thought, in his Torah. And we just saw that it's actually it's one element. If you know the wisdom of how to criticize other people, and of course, then first of all, to criticize you, because it makes you feel the guilt, that makes you feel responsible for everything, and that responsibility, that's caring, it's turning you to be the tzaddik. So the tzaddik is the one that feels the consciousness of being a sinner, and that helps him to and that makes him perfect. That's Esther. Yes, that's exactly what makes him perfect. So I hope I'm being clear until now, and now we'll take time for questions or anyone also. What?
Perhaps we can go maybe both. But so we've had some questions already, and we'll open it up fully. So if anyone would like to ask, I'll just get the ball rolling, and we'll definitely make sure that others have a chance. You referred to Rav Elimelech as a master of rebuke, and one impression that I think might be fair to take from these particular selections is that many of the ingredients that make up our image of the ideal person are pretentious or incorrect or egotistical or something in that vein. And each of our questioners have touched on related issues, but the intellect doesn't really feature into this portrayal much. And this kind of hits very directly, I think, to people in this room, modern, educated people, and we walk around with a notion of who we admire and who we'd like to become. I wonder if you can address learning, thinking, ideas, the intellect as a feature of Rav Elimelech's thought and of the example that he's trying to present to us. I mean, in Bet, where he tells us tale of how he goes to the Supreme Court of Shamayim, and he's asked, did you learn Torah as you were commanded to? He says, no. The implication is that clearly this is a primary value. So I'd be interested to hear you say a little bit more about that feature of his ideal.
So, I think that Rav Elimelech challenged us. Challenging us not to have a comfortable life. In that case, a bit, in that paragraph, he asked us to feel every moment, what did I do wrong and what can I do better? And it's not a comfortable life to live with a emotion of guilt, and I have to learn Torah more, I have to pray more, and I have to do things to help the world. So he wants you not to be, sit down in your life, to be more with attention. I think he inserts tension to our life, to try to not to be quiet, Okay. Did I answer you?
To some extent, and I think we can continue to explore as we go. You want to
Please. Danny?
Yeah, so just a question about this perception of the tzaddik. How did this impact other chassidic figures later on, such as the Kotzker Rebbi and Rabbi Nachman?
Oh, they're quite the opposite, of course. If someone would
came to Rabbi Nachman with a question about his cow and her milk, eggs milk, and something like that, he threw it, through the stairs. You can't ask Rabbi Nachman such a question. Ask him about Ishtokikut, the wish to be close to God and so on. And the other name is the Kotzker Rebbi.
Yeah.
I think that there is a very deep connection between the Kotzker and Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk. Think about the fact that the Kotzker was a very tough guy and a very man of rebuke and criticism, of course. And he actually some kind of a grandchild of Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, because he's a student of the Hasidism in Lublin that I mentioned before. Jose is a student of Rav Elimelech. And actually, the fact that the Kotzker Rabbi closed the door for 20 years, if you know that fact, and he lived up behind a closed door, it was because he believed that every one of us has to take the responsibility of his life and not just go to the rabbi. And I think that Rav Elimelech also think like that. So he thought that everyone has to take his responsibility. Every one of us has to be Melech, as he called himself. And it's of course, it's again because in Yiddish they called Rav Elimelech, they zip it into Melech. But I think Rav Elimelech think Melech, a king. But I think Rav Elimelech thinks that every one of us had to be a real Duke of Potocki. Maybe I should say, because what is the real Duke of Potocki? Who is the real king? The real king is the one that not go to another person that will take the responsibility for him. No, he takes the responsibility personally. Okay? Okay. Please. Yes, please.
The microphone is on the way.
Ah.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. Well, first of all, this is going to sound kind of heretical, but I don't know if anyone else had that thought, but this whole idea of almost like, I take on your sins, sounds a little,
Yeah.
Christian,
Oh,
that figure. I hate to say the same breath as Elimelech, so I'll just leave it like that. And so that I don't know I would say connection, but there's some kind of something there. And on the flip side, the idea of Das Torah, is that also sort of figured into like the Rebbe knowing everything and being able to advise. And the one other question I have is that, okay, so if he is the tzaddik, I'm a little confused about what our relationship, if the tzaddik is taking everything onto him, does that mean we give it, or do we become the tzaddik?
No, of course.
So that's that I'm finding a little bit confusing as well.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I'll start with the last one. Of course, we all have to be the tzaddik. The tzaddik is not. We're not giving our problem to the tzaddik, because that, of course, it's quite confusing. But the tzaddik is the one who takes the responsibility of him and about everything, everyone else. So all of us has to be the tzaddik. It's also, I don't remember exactly the first and the second question, but all of us had to be that tzaddik, and we are not taking the sins of others, the Christians, because Rav Elimelech is challenged everyone to be also a tzaddik. He, of course, takes all on his shoulders, but it's not in conflict, but it's not in contradiction with that you also have to do the same thing. And he wrote it in his book, in Noam Elimelech, that the tzaddik, one of the tzaddik's role is to teach everyone how to be the tzaddik. So it's actually the opposite from those Christian notion of taking the sins of others. And no, he teaches everyone how to be, how to be able to take the responsibility of their life and the other life. Okay, so it's quite confusing, but I think it's much more clear now.
Is this similar to the whole idea of Das Torah in terms of asking the Rebbe questions? Is that a similar?
You know, I'll tell you so. In the Hasidut, you can find two different aspects of what the tzaddik is. You can find that. Let me say so to speak. That I can say that if you search in all the Jewish thought, where could you find the definition of what the tzaddik had to do? You will find it, especially in the Chassidut, of course. But if you search in the whole Jewish thought, who talks about the problems with, you know, that with the term tzaddik, that he takes all the problem about him, and also in the Hasidut you will find the same issue of how you have to take the responsibility on yourself and not going to the tzaddik. Also, the Hasidim dealing also with that as well. So I think that Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk is quite confusing because he speaks all the time about the tzaddik. But the tzaddik is not the only one, that Melech, Rav Elimelech of Lizhensk, that can do it. Everyone had to be the tzaddik, and because of that, it's not good if you are throwing your problem on the tzaddik, on the other's shoulders. Yeah? You have to take it on your shoulder, in your hands. It's in your hands, okay?
I think it's more when people go to a tzaddik, not that they're putting their problems on him, they're hoping that he's going to pray for them. Tzaddik goes there, v'hakadosh baruch hu b'kayim.
Yeah.
That's a klal. And not that he's taking on, but what's special about Rav Elimelech, he himself feels himself a sinner, so he understands the guilt, what goes with sinning and with everything else, while many Rabbanim portray themselves as walking on water, you know, not that vulnerable.
You're right, but you forgot just one thing. When someone came to Rav Elimelech, Rav Elimelech would rebuke.
He would give Muslim.
Yes, he was criticizing. You're telling him his problem. You're not just praying for him, prayer for him. He was, and why did you do so? You do so because you want him to feel guilt, and because of that, taking the responsibility in his hand. Okay?
So he wouldn't just pray for him, he would say, why did you do something like that?
Yeah, it's your problem. You have to fix yourself, and it's your responsibility. I won't help you in that, okay? So this is actually just, okay, maybe we'll have another question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. We'll conclude with any more.
Okay. So, do you want me to repeat the first one or another one?
Oh, I loved it.
So, I do it again. I just want to mention that you have to pay attention to the word, because the word is quite opposite for all that I said before. Because he told in his word he wrote, I hope that in our heart we will see just the good thing in others, not the bad. So it's quite the opposite, but it's not. In deep motion, it's not the opposite. Because people will listen to you criticize it, when you criticize them, because they feel that inward inwardly you love them. You feel a deep love, and because that you feel that love, you can listen to the rebuke, and you are not just going out to the okay. You listen because you know that inwardly he loves you. So this word אדרבה תן בליבנו שנראה מעלת חברים, the good thing of our friends and not the bad side of them.
תן בליבנו שנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו תן בליבנו שנראה כל אחד מעלת חברנו ולא חסר עונה ושנדבר כל אחד את חברו בדרך הישר והרצוי לפניך ואל יעלה בליבנו שום שנאה אוהב אחד על חברו חלילה היה ידך זה אותנו אוהב Yeah.